a whole new book is now open to AEW. But who actually does the booking there?
Well, it's Tony Khan and probably a few guys he hangs around with, wrestlers, EVPs, I don't know.
But see, nothing is a trademark AEW angle. You could tell when Vince did something in WWE. And there's still a lot of things I don't really like about the booking is when a guy runs in, his partner's getting the dog crap beat out of him, and they play his music, and he'll look around and get his cheers in. And then everybody, even the ones in the ring, they all stand and watch. And then, and that's the way they do it.
It says here the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Pat Buck, Sonjay Dutt, Tony Schiavone, QT Marshall, and others attend meetings allowing Khan to bounce ideas off them. Different personnel are sometimes brought into the conversations as well, while AEW's main event talents have input on their creative as well. So essentially, it falls down to Tony Khan.
My advice, I think he has too many people. I think less is more. How many people does he have listed? 10?
Yeah, near enough. Yeah, so 2,
and
3,
everybody,
4, 5, 6,
everybody
7.
everybody has a different idea. So, do they all meet at one time, or does Tony have private meetings with them?
No, it seems like it's a group setting.
Oh, I hate that.
Mm.
I really do.
What was the most amount of people in a creative meeting that you ever attended in TNA?
Well, probably like 6 or 7. But the unique part about it, if we just had 3 and a stenographer, which is actually Dan Engler, which he was the recorder. He would type all this stuff down. But I think the less you have, you can focus more. Because the more people you have, if you have 3, you're gonna have 3 different versions. If you have 7, you're gonna have 5 different versions. So 3 is enough. 5, you're repeating some stuff, and it may be totally different. But where it really boils down to is the one in charge who has to pick which way we're going to go. Mm-hmm. See, when I booked Puerto Rico, and I had myself, and I would start booking the show, I don't know. We booked weekly there, so.
Very weekly.
Very weekly. But a Monday, I would have like a match or 2 I wanted next week, and the rest of it, I'd have to book it on the spot. And I never really had the long-term deal. I did on the top 2 or 3 matches. I had that. A lot of times it just booked itself. Then when we would do a pay-per-view, the only reason we'd book that so far in advance is because if we'd want a guy or 2 to come in, you just don't book the airplane tickets like the day before. You gotta have them booked about a month out, and the rooms booked and the transportation booked, but it worked. If you got I kept my strong programs in-house. I never tried to send my top babyface out against a traveling heel. Because what if that heel doesn't come? Now you don't have the match. Or vice versa, you babyface, then you book your heel, and something happens, your heel gets hurt, he misses the flight, he does this, he does that. It can actually do more harm than good. Mm-hmm. So I tried to keep my top angles in-house where the guys were already there. I knew they would be there, and that helped get my talent over more, because usually when I brought somebody in, they'd be third from the top, unless it was in dire situations, and I knew the guy would be there. I could book it on top, but very seldom did I book that way.
I've got a question for you then. So let's say you are the leader of a booking committee, and it has to be a committee. You're the top dog, but you've got to have 3 living people So, you can't just have them all from history. 3 living people today to be your creative underlings. Who would you have on your staff under you?
Anywhere?
Yeah. From any company you're not hired at all, who would be your top 3 guys to bring in to form the Dutch Mantell Wrestling Organization?
Well, I'd have to think about that. It's not that who I would have; it would be who could I get, because I may be for a rinky-dink organization that couldn't afford anybody.
Let's say money's no object. Let's say contracts are no object. You can pick the best 3 people, but you also have to consider personality clashes between those 3 as well.
You would ask me this question, wouldn't you? Okay, I'll take up one of those spots.
Mm-hmm.
But now the contacts I had, they're about all dead. They're about all dead anyway. But I would pick me a guy that's, say, a Cody Rhodes, if money was no object. I think I would pick him. Even maybe even Dustin. But there is a guy that I had in Puerto Rico. His name is Moody. And the reason being for his Moody name was because he went in and out of moods. One day he'd be so happy, bouncing around. Next day, he'd be so depressed, he's thinking about killing himself. And the next day, after you got through dealing with him the first day, you felt like killing yourself. Then the next day, you felt like killing him yourself.
And you want him on your committee?
Yeah, I want him on my committee because he really had, but see, he offered something different. He was a videographer, and he did tremendous videos. Now, this was back in the days you could use copyrighted music, which you can't do that, but you still got a lot of music that you could use. And he would, sometimes the best part of the show, it was a Saturday night. We had our big show on Saturday night around San Juan. He would come up with a 6-minute or 7-minute video that encapsulated, you like that word, encapsulated everything we'd done for a month. So if you'd missed everything, you watched the show, you watched that last video, and it explains it to you. With that, most of the time without an announcer overlay, without an announcer voiceover. That was the best part of the show, and it always did. It was customary to watch it to the end, because I would usually either show a video on the big shows, or I would wrap up my vignettes that I'd done through the show, and then we do the promo. Then we would go. I pulled up one baseball stadium one day. It was about 6:00. They had 5 lines of people, about 100, 150 deep, waiting to buy tickets at 6:00, and the show started at 9:00. Well, it's supposed to start at 8:30, but nothing starts on time in Puerto Rico. It's called, actually, the people that live there tell you it's called Puerto Rican time. So they want to start at 8:30 or 8. It starts at 9:15, and that's the way they do it.
So we've got Cody, we've got Moody,
Yep.
we've
Moody.
got one more space left. So would it not be someone established like Cornette or Russo or Jarrett or Kevin Sullivan or anything like that?
No. Well, first of all, you're not going to get Cornette, period. I don't care how much money you offer. And Cornette is a type, and he doesn't like committees either. And he's moody. I couldn't put Moody with Cornette. They'd kill each other because of the personalities. Vince is much the same way, because he sees it one way and sometimes doesn't see it any other way, or may not want to see it any other way. I can respect that. And Jeff could probably do it, But you have to have somebody that's been in the business about 20 years that has seen the old school and has seen the new school. And so I don't know who that person would be. Could you give me one more example? And I'll say what he's working on.
Kevin Sullivan.
No, he wouldn't work either.
Why not?
I just don't. It's just a feeling that he's got good idea. But he's the type that agrees with me. I think he wants less is more. Because if you have less is more, if you sit down and you're trying to explain this angle to a team of consultants, they're going to pick it apart. I went to a meeting one time in TNA, and I don't know why in the hell I would go to this meeting. It was the clerks in the office, and it was another guy that just damn stored stuff. They were all around this big table in the office in TNA, and they were all listening to how we booked the show. Finally, one guy spoke up, and he said, well, I said, let me tell you something, buddy. I want you sitting there and just listening. I don't want you saying anything. How many places have you booked? No. I said, how many matches have you agented? None. Well, what qualifies you to sit here? Because Dixie Carter just sent them in there because she wanted everybody to know where the company was going. And I told her later, I said, I'll tell you what, if you keep this up, I'll tell you where the company's going. It's going into bankruptcy. I'm going to tell you exactly where it's going. Because first of all, I'm not going to be here. Jeff won't put up with it, and Vince won't either. Because you just don't go, here's a guy that just cleans up the office. He's the custodian or the janitor, and he's sitting on a meeting. I walked in the first day. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I said, what the hell is this? What does a damn custodian know about damn a triple main event or this, that, and the other, or where I want to go or where it needs to go? So that was when I decided that, I don't know, TNA might not be as glorious as they try to say it was.